From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big early morning on LA with incredible details across the board about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 this Saturday morning. In this recording, we'll be going over the monthly stimulus check that the Democrats want you to have and why there may actually be more checks, more months of checks. Oh my goodness. Then the second half of this video, we go over the two-path process and why that the fact that the bipartisan has now separated itself away from the recon for stimulus checks, why your fourth stimulus may also give you other money. OMG. And then in the third part of this video, we go over why calling the vote is so critical and whether Mitch was set up. Oh, I love it. In the second part of this video, we go to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall with another stimulus check, yes, and raise your benefits up lifetime. And then we go over the big money that viewers continue to get, and it's your day to get it. $22,000 at issue. Oh boy. It's a big early mornings broadcast. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. And the red, white, and blue are purple. And here we go on Early Mornings LA. Excited for you to join me. I will be with you all weekend long, whether there's two of you or whether there's 2 million of you. I don't care. I don't care if you're all at the beach and you're not watching. It's fine. I'm still going to be recording because there's a lot of breaking news across the board. I'm excited even for two of you to join me. So here we go. Fourth stimulus check update 2021. So much breaking news. First, more checks, yes. Then more benefits on top of those checks, yes. And then the voting process, so critical. And did they trip up Mitch on purpose? Yes, they did. I have all that detail coming up in this video. And then we turn to fifth stimulus. This stimulus has another stimulus check in there. Oh, it does. Oh, it's just getting delicious. All it needs is bacon. And then we turn to the thousands of dollars of viewers can get as well, like one viewer who got $22,000. This is LALATE, America's only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. I'm next back with you with Mornings LALATE live at 9 a.m. today. And overnights, crypto is airing contiguously at the same time of this video. It'll take you into that video right after this one is done. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next up, 1 million. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video. Every like you do helps ensure that Mitch's mixtape doesn't really drop and consider becoming a member. Let's get into that monthly stimulus check right off the bat and understand why the deliciousness of this is getting changed by the minute. Two approaches. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year monthly. Senate approach is monthly stimulus checks July to December. Well, then the payouts. House, $1,000 after the first month. Senate monthly is unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Oh, deliciousness. That is per person. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000 a person. Word on the street says the Democrats in the Senate want to pay you, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400 a person. Now, the week really ended in a bombshell, as after a week that started with us saying, well, they may not pay you pandemic plus 1 year. They may just pay you 1 year. And 1 year would be 12 checks because there's 12 months in a year, which would be $13,000. And I said, vote on that. But now you got to vote on something different, which is pandemic plus 1 year. Well, Warren Buffett said this week the pandemic ain't over. LA County this week said the pandemic ain't over. Airlines across the board said the pandemic ain't over and that they are worried about business travel not coming back. So if that's the case, then the House bill may pay us a lot more than $13,000 compared to this from the Senate. Vote right now. Get in the live chat right after 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and vote House of Senate, House of Senate. I think you have an opinion, and it may be a different opinion than just a few days ago. And tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Wow, that's surprising. Yeah, a lot more checks. Things just change very quickly on this channel. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats want a single individual to get a stimulus check. In fact, they want everyone who got a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less, you would get a fourth stimulus check from the Democrats. Democrats want a married couple to have a fourth stimulus check, double it. $150,000 or less. and family of 4. Democrats want you to have a 4 stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, or benefits, congratulations. Democrats want you to have a 4 stimulus check. The 4 stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. And the 4 stimulus check comes monthly. It does not come in waves. So if you're at the beach today and you see the check trying to surf the waves, and that's that same check you saw at the surf shop the other day. Say, hey, check, what's going on? I see you're trying to check out the wave. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, wipe out. Wipe out. Wow. Yeah, it's just, oh, wow. It's just not a waivable check. In fact, it can't survive on the waves. There you go. The 4 stimulus check would come in the month of July for the month of July. They can still get that stimulus check to you in the month of July, and would come in the month of August for the month of August. Oh, it's like dead seaweed. And there you go. In the second part of this video, we'll be going over why the 4th stimulus may be giving you a lot more money than we initially thought, no less than a week ago. And in the third part of this video, we'll be going over the voting process and why this is getting so delicious by the minute. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video, which is 5th stimulus. It heats up this fall with another stimulus check and lifting up your benefits across the board. And there's a lot of breaking news about this yesterday, and I have all the details you need to know. Wow. But let's get some money. And yeah, it's 4th of July weekend, but you can still do this on the weekend. When I tell you in this video, call, I also want you over the weekend to go to their websites because the internet is not closed over 4th of July weekend. Every county, city, and state that I'm going to go over with you in this video shortly has websites, and you can get this money on the websites over the weekends, or at least start the application process. So what are we doing? We're getting fortunes. If you're new to this channel, that's what we do here. When 3rd stimulus passed, I said, hey, you're getting a $1,400 stimulus check, but wouldn't you prefer a $14,000 check? Well, that's what viewers have done. They have followed my advice, and they've gotten rent, utilities, mortgage, and internet, and also other items. And I want you to get a pen and paper ready, and we're going to go over all those great details across the board. It's important to understand that this is just like December 2020, when we were waiting for 2nd stimulus to pass, wasn't yet passing, and I show viewers, here's $250,000 that you can get, and they got $250,000 because of my recordings. Viewers like Tyrone out of Boston got $15,000 for his family for rent from December to March. It was just incredible, and it was just a commonplace, just repeatedly. And in the last few days, Nisi got $22,000 from this channel. John got $12,000 for Snap. We have viewers on average getting $9,000 to $12,000 of rent, $3,000 for utilities, $5,000 to $7,000 for Snap. Enormous numbers. It's your opportunity to get them as well. So get that pen and paper ready, and here we go. You reach out to each of the places individually, and if they say no, then reach out to the next place. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. And the key words you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID, utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know. They don't know certain words. So don't say stimulus. Don't know that word. And don't say Mitch's wonderful backup singing career. Oh, my ear just hurts from thinking about that. No, they don't know that either. So don't say words they don't know. And there you go. Wow. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this money. It's wonderful. And the next pot of money is Snap. And yeah, John got $12,000 from it this week. Lynn Glenn got for her son, her mom, and herself. Gail got it. What is it? It's money from food. It comes from Department of Agriculture. Reach out to Department of Agriculture to get it. And how much does it pay? A fortune. A fortune. A family of 4 in Hawaii gets $16,000 a year. Why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And you're killing it. People getting $12,000 for Snap from this channel, like John. People getting $10,000 to $12,000 for rent. People getting multiple items, like Art, who got 3 items, and Nisi getting $22,000. You are killing it. We're killing it. The check on those waves, ouch, ooh, not killing it. Sort of like a dead lobster. The next pile of money is wonderful. It's coming back from your states. What is it? It's the refund check due to computer error. The states have been ordered to refund you back money that they overpaid you due to computer error, and that money is coming back. So let's go over when, where, and how you get get these details first. What is it? The federal government has identified states as overpaying you unemployment benefits due to computer error and then asking the money back. Well, now it's coming back. So how much is this? It's a lot. One viewer got $5,000 from it. Where? Direct deposit, the accounts you have on file with your state. Can you track it? Yeah, about you can contact your state and say, hey, state, where is that money due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And finally, the wonderful money coming back from IRS. If you got this money as well, jump in the live chat. If you are in the live chat right now, post whatever money you got, whether it's rent, utilities, SNAP, internet, post whatever you got. If you post on a regular basis, post it again, because every time you do it, it inspires viewers to get this money. This is how the Purple Power works. We're here cashing checks, not tracking checks. We're not here posting what day of July is the check going to land in my hand. No, you're posting what $15,000 can I get this week? What $10,000 can I get this week? What $3,000 can I get this week? You're killing it because this is money for you. And there we go. The refund check from IRS, got it, Margaret got it, Tim got it. Well, let's go over the details. First, how much? Let's say you have $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000 of total taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. When? This month. Where? Direct deposit. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time. Oh, direct deposit or in the mail. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time. Go to irs.gov, do a transcript search, and it'll reveal stuff that you never knew and stuff that you sort of really wish you never did know. It'll reveal the tax return you file, the taxes you pay. It will reveal the drop date for Mitch's mixtape. Ouch, my ear. It'll reveal really who is Mitch's rap career based upon. It'll reveal whether the Kanye is doing a duet with Mitch, and then finally reveal the refund check you're getting. Wow. And the date is coming. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 starting right now. What you need to know is that the legislators have prepared it and prepared it well. And 3 weeks ago, we were looking back and saying, hey, it's a recon. It has stimulus checks in there, but it has a lot of other stuff in there. And at the time, recon was a big pile of stuff in there. Stimulus checks, roads and bridges. And over 3.5 weeks ago, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, the president, were meeting daily, unbeknownst to us, and saying the recon is too big. Recon is too big. We got to take the roads and bridges out. This is what you need to know. Had they called the vote when the bill was too big with roads and bridges in there, it would have died. So you do not want to be a date chaser and say, why didn't they call the vote in early June? Because it would have died. And when they call the vote, it would have not passed and it would have been done. It would have been done. So what did they do? Well, they were sort of ingenious because they realized if they gave a bait to Mitch, he would fall for it. And the bait was to take the roads and bridges out and put it aside. And then suddenly it made the recon passable. What's going on here? Well, over the 3 weeks ago, naysayers are saying there's nothing in there but roads and bridges. There's nothing in there but roads and bridges. There's no money in there for you. Well, there always was, but it was kept sort of quiet because roads and bridges was the pitch. The president would stay in front of a road, in front of a bridge, with a backdrop of a road and bridge, say, I need to raise your corporate taxes to pay for the road and bridge. But he really wanted to just protect the progressive policies of the recon. And what did they do? Last Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday before that, they decided to spin off the roads and bridges to a spin-off show. And what is that spin-off show? Is bipartisan. Roads and bridges became part of the bipartisan. It became the bipartisan. Roads and bridges were spun off, so suddenly we had two-path process, recon and bipartisan. Your stuff is still in the recon. Checks, climate, cares, economy, lots of money. Now, this helped you in 3 regards. Number 1, it helped you because suddenly the recon became passable. If you don't believe me, here's what you need to know. That once they had removed the roads and bridges, the recon was smaller. And because it was smaller, it was now passable. Here's an op-ed from a conservative publication who says now the recon is passable because they tricked the GOP to putting the roads and bridges into the bipartisan. Who's they? The Democrats. The higher the recon was, the harder it was to pass. By allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending and putting into the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. Well, that's obvious. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon easier to pass. Of course it did. Well planned out. Game over. There's nothing to gain by blessing the bipartisan, which is an ungodly amount of money, which should not have been made possible by establishing There's no reason to approve the recon, which is an ungodly amount of money, which was made possible by the bipartisan. Now you see why you don't want to be a date chaser, because what happened was, by taking the roads and bridges out of the recon, it made the recon passable. And that was basically a bait that the GOP took, that they would put that recon, they would take out of the recon the roads and bridges. So now the recon became passable. What else had happened with this detail? What also happened with this detail was that the recon finally got an identity. Certainly 3 weeks ago, naysayers are saying there's nothing in there except roads and bridges. There's no money for Americans in there. Of course there was money for Americans in there. There was tons of checks, but it was overshadowed by the recon. And the recon was overshadowed by the roads and bridges. And the roads and bridges was used to pitch the American people about raising corporate taxes. Now, the naysayers are upset, because I can't say it's only roads and bridges in there anymore, because it's actually anything but roads and bridges. Roads and bridges are down the road, over the bridge. And finally, all your money is only money for you. I mean, there's nothing left in the recon but money for you, which gave you the incredible identity for this. If you didn't have an identity problem before, it was solved by who? Mitch McConnell. He came out and started trashing the recon once it was separated from the bipartisan, saying it's just a lot of checks for people who don't need checks for lazy people, it's a Democratic wish list, a progressive socialism policy for checks for people to stay at home. Thank you, Mitch. It just explained to America that the recon was always about checks. And now that roads and bridges are out, it's only about checks for people. Thank you. I appreciate it. What brought us to the third item of great news was that suddenly the recon was protected, because the recon is all progressive ideas. And we didn't know why Jalopal was saying that the president was telling her, thank you for protecting our recon. Jalopal was saying this 2 weeks ago. Yeah, you're going to see throughout the later parts of this video where these dates are before the separation. The separation of recon and bipartisan was not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday before that. Far before that, these people were saying, certain things were saying that they were planning this way in advance, but not telling us. Jalopal, far before the separation of the recon and the bipartisan, said that the White House had thanked her for protecting the progressive policies. What? What do you mean protecting the progressive policy of the recon? And Shantz had said that the president said the progressive policy priorities in the recon are the White House's own priorities. What was going on? What was going on was they were telling the progressives protect the recon policies of progressiveness in there, because in a second the roads and bridges will be out and we need you to raise the drawbridge over the moat entering Fort Recon to make sure that everything that is reconish is in there. Can it get better than that? It can. As finally, once the roads and bridges were out of the recon, then guess what happened? Not only was it protected, not only was it your stimulus checks, not only they so represent, not only was it lots of progressive ideas, but suddenly the tow truck arrived. Beep, beep, beep. You hear that? It's backing up. It's the progressive tow truck. And what did the progressives start doing this week? They started adding more stuff of progressiveness in there. Because the roads and bridges were out, they have a cleaned up space. They have extra space, and now they can add in a little bit more because roads and bridges were so expensive. Now they're out. If you don't believe me, here you go. The Progressive Caucus repeatedly told the White House that it won't support the recon unless it goes very big. And then Representative Ilhan Omar explained how big is big. Omar says we have a commitment that regardless of whatever happens with the bipartisan, we will do recon that goes as far as we want it to go. Oh my goodness. And then Representative Richie Torres, Democrat of New York, said, I will refuse to vote on the bipartisan unless it's linked to the larger recon and has in there his priorities, which are housing? What is all this? beep, beep. It's the progressive pickup truck, the U-Haul truck. It's backing up. It's dropping some more progressive policies in there. Now that Fort Recon has the drawbridge raised and you can't get in there, the progressives are adding more progressive policies in there, making it so angry. How do we get to this wonderful spot? Jalopal had written a letter to Schumer about a week ago saying, Chuck, call the vote. Call the vote. Now, that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who were among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, Mr. President, we would be putting monthly stimulus checks in the forced stimulus recon. Can we top that? We can. As 7 House Democrats who are on the House subcommittee, House Ways and Means subcommittee, wrote the president a letter directly saying that we're going to do forced stimulus recon checks when we write the forced stimulus recon. Well, who are these people? They're on the House subcommittee that is solely exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks. You understand recon is only written by Democrats, it's not written by Republicans. Republicans don't want a recon. They're on the House subcommittee who wrote the 3rd stimulus recon. They are now writing the 4th stimulus recon. They represent that there's 4th stimulus recon checks in there monthly. And they also say they're doing a 5th stimulus recon next year. What else have they done? They wrote your first stimulus check as well. Wow, can we top that? We can. As the President of the United States anchored 4th stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line by getting an international agreement about corporate taxes put in the books 2 weeks ago. Well, 3 weeks ago today. What's going on here? Remember when recon was, remember when we only had a one path and it was only recon and it was paid for by corporate taxes? Wow. No one really cared about roads and bridges. Now that roads and bridges are out, what pays for the recon? Still corporate taxes. What pays for the bipartisan? Staying away from corporate taxes. The president used roads and bridges when it was in the recon as a pitch to raise corporate taxes because who would agree to raising corporate taxes to pay for someone else's medicine? No one would buy that. But for roads and bridges, yeah, that I can digest. That sounds good. Now that the roads and bridges are out, do you think he's still using corporate taxes to pay for the stuff? Of course. And he plotted this beautifully 3 weeks ago when at that time roads and bridges was in there. He went overseas and said, hey, I got an idea. It started when the president said, corporate taxes need to be raised to pay for recon, for stimulus recon. But I'm worried about raising the corporate tax rate. Corporations may move overseas where corporate tax rates are lower. So he reached out to those countries and said, hey, can you raise them up? And he reached out to his staff and said, hey, staff, they tentatively said yes, those other countries. Maybe we should visit them in December, bring them some of Jill's potpourri. And the staff said, Mr. President, you bring in June. It's Europe. They do things differently. They like potpourri in June. They drive on the other side of the road. The president, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Let's go do that. So they went and met in June. And there we go. The president signed into law that international agreement about corporate tax rate, which anchors forced stimulus to the edge of the finish line. Because now it's easier to pass forced stimulus recon, which is paid for by corporate taxes, because the international agreement about corporate taxes is no longer needed in the forced stimulus recon. It's in the international agreement, making it easier for the Democratic caucus to pass forced stimulus recon. Oh my goodness. The plotting is just, it's better than an Agatha Christie novel. It's better than Captain Peacock in the kitchen. You seeing how it's unfolding? Well, you haven't seen it all yet until I tell you who has the surprise in the kitchen with Captain Peacock. It's coming up in the third part of this video. But first, here is the big surprise, and it's the volunteers. They're more wonderful than even Captain Peacock. If you need help with rent, utility, mortgage, or internet, reach out to them. They are salt of the earth. They help you nationally. If you are in the live chat and you're seeing the people post this item, that item, and you haven't gotten anything, don't worry. Reach out to the volunteers. They're on the community page. How do you find the community page? Go down the description of this video. Find the emoji of a house. Click that emoji of the house. It sends you over to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. The volunteers are separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them, and they'll help you get that big money. But they can't cook you a tostada. They cannot assemble a flagpole for you. They cannot knit a flag of red, white, and purple. But they can at least get you all the other money. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, the burgers are burgering, and the ribs are ribbing. It's a barbecue weekend on the 4th of July, and I'm here, you're here, and I'll be with you all weekend long. How are ya? Coming up next on this channel is Overnight's Crypto. This video will take you automatically into Overnight's Crypto when this video is over, and it's a big show tonight, so don't miss it. And then next up is the 9 a.m. Mornings LA, live from Santa Monica, followed by Mornings Crypto at 9:30, live from Santa Monica, and 11 a.m.'s Noontime LA, live from Santa Monica, followed by our afternoon tape shows. So subscribe. At 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel and part of this family. Like this video. Every like helps. It delivers you extra coleslaw on the side. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fifth stimulus. So much breaking details about fifth stimulus. The new jobs numbers was released on Friday. This is different than the job claims number. This is how many jobs are created. And the number beat estimates of Wall Street, which means, obviously, inflation. Bigger economy, faster growing economy, whether it's consumer price index or producer price index or this number, it's signaling things are going higher. Great news for your benefits under fifth stimulus. Let's go over all the analysis. But first, will there be a fifth stimulus check? Yes. Those House subcommittee members who wrote your third stimulus recon or writing your fourth stimulus recon or writing your fifth stimulus recon are saying that they're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in there. Wow. The president has dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure your stimulus checks going forward and your monthly checks arrive on time. If you are missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you must request it by filing a tax return and request it on the tax return. There's a line item for that. If you haven't done both of those things, reach out to a tax preparer. But let's go to this exciting news about that raising up your benefits. Boy, oh boy. It's getting delicious. Their benefits levels will be raised up. Then they'll remove the asset limits, add inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this works starting right now. Well, this starts the following way. They start by raising up your benefits one big time. You understand. This is everyone. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, or Calcino benefits, then they'll apply a new benchmark. That new benchmark is inflation. Now, you understand how a benchmark works. You understand that it is applied in December for next year's benefits. You understand the new benchmark's inflation. You understand inflation's going up. And you understand my recordings that Jay Powell said that inflation reached its highest price point in December, which is when they apply your benchmark. So how does this work then for you? Well, let's use an example of a number. A lot of Wall Street analysts are looking at about 10% inflation in December, potentially. That would raise your benefits up 10%, not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. So the inflation rate next year is 2%, then you're at +2 plus 10%. Oh my goodness, that's great news. Then they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1960s law that says, 80s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand, and now you can. You'll be able to have some stimulus checks in your hand and maybe a taco. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear a marriage penalty. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer worry about marriage benefits. Now, if you've seen it in the live chat tonight, a lot of people this morning, with a lot of people posting what monies they got, and if you haven't, start posting it right now. And you're noticing a lot of them have emojis of purple hawks next to their name. What is that? They're members. Why is it important to be members? Because that's what this channel's about, is getting people money, not tracking what day a check is coming, rather getting $15, $20, $10,000 across the board, because it's money for you that the government wants you to have. How do you know where it is? By becoming a member. Members are delivered daily from me a breakdown of all the big money under third stimulus, all the money under fourth stimulus proposed, and all the money in fifth stimulus. And when third stimulus is passed, I said, hey, you got to be informed about all this money. It's first come, first serve. It's purple hawk, hawk, hawk. You got to get that money before anyone else. You have to descend like a hawk. And as a purple hawk, they're descending and getting that big money right away. So consider becoming a member. I have delivered from me to you daily all the PDFs of what's in that third stimulus, so you know the big money you can get. And there we go. Let's cut back now into the big finale of your fourth stimulus check of 2021 starting right now. Number one is calendar. Here's what you need to know. Leader Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, said over 1,000 times that the final vote on the recon will be by July 4th. Obviously, that's not happening. But what you want to do is not be a date chaser. You do not want to say, well, I wanted the vote to be by July 3rd. I wanted the vote to be by June 26th. Being a date chaser will ultimately result in you not getting a stimulus check. Here's what you need to know. Once you call the vote in the wrong way and it doesn't get enough votes, it's gone. It's dead. No more chances. That's it. Here's what would have happened. Had they called the vote a week ago, before that Wednesday split where recon and bipartisan became separate, it would have died because it was too big, the recon. Here's the second thing you need to know, is that if anyone at any time says, hey, your vote's going to be called tomorrow, congratulations, yeah, and you don't ask when the bipartisan's been called for a vote, and then the bipartisan's called a day earlier, guess what? That victory dance is going to turn into a funeral march because the recon's going to die. The recon will never pass if it's called for a vote last. There's three possibilities. Recon first, bipartisan second, or recon and bipartisan at the same time, or recon after bipartisan. If recon is called after bipartisan, it doesn't pass. So it must be called the correct way, before the bipartisan or at the same time. Guess what? Yeah, you know. Mitch McConnell wants recon called never. He doesn't ever want to call. He doesn't want to ever call for a vote, but he can't say. It's not his determination. The great news is that Leader Pelosi, Speaker Schumer are the people, Leader Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, are the people who determine when and where things are called. As the leader of the Senate and the leader of the House, these are the two people in the Constitution who determine what is called for a vote and when it's called for a vote. And trust me, they're calling recon for a vote first. There ain't going to be no bipartisan unless we have a recon, says Nancy. As I said, there won't be a bipartisan unless we have a recon. Plain and simple. In fact, I'm using the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan unless we have the recon pass first. Now, here's what you also need to know. It needs to be called for a vote the correct way. And you're going to start to see that definitely, that this was plotted out very keenly over the last few weeks. People often say, I haven't seen the bill. They have a draft of the bill. They're just not showing the American public. In the digital era, people think that they have to show everything to everyone else. They don't do that. They're legislators. They keep things silent. They, in fact, don't even tell you what they're doing. They don't show it until it's done. And they prepare to trip up the other side. Mitch. Here is an interesting quote. It shows you everything. Jalapal, who wrote the House bill with the monthly stimulus checks, says that she did a poll of her members 10 days ago. The quote is not from today. The quote is from last Monday. She says, based upon 10 days before last Monday, she did a poll of her members. About what? About whether they should call a vote on the recon before the bipartisan. Wait a second. The recon and the bipartisan had not split by then. It only got split the Wednesday before her quote. That's not 10 days ago. That was only like a few days before her quote. Yes, you see what's going on? They prepared this before the recon was even split from the bipartisan. We did a poll of our 10 members 10 days ago, and the overwhelming majority of our caucus said they're not going to vote on the bipartisan without the recon voted on first. Oh boy, they've been plotting this out. Do you see what's going on here? You saw what's going on here. The president understood at some point, somewhere in about a couple weeks ago, that the recon was too big. It was not going to pass. Do not call vote on the recon in mid-June. It was going to fail. It was too big. It wasn't written right. By putting roads and bridges in there, it was too big and it would not pass. So you do not want to be a date chaser to say call for a vote. It was going to fail. And then we would be left with nothing. So what did he do? He plotted this out. He plotted out with the progressives, number one, that the bipartisan would be split for the recon, that roads and bridges would be split over there, that he would try to get the GOP to agree the roads and bridges and put it over there, which would then help the recon be easy to pass. The GOP fell for the bait. Said, yeah, okay, we'll do the bipartisan. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, but it gives exactly what I want. Privately, the president was already having meetings with Jalopal and Schumer and Pelosi, who all said, hey, we determine when we call a vote, not the GOP, not Mitch, and we will be calling the vote on the bipartisan first. It should be on the recon first. They set it up so recon would pass easily, quickly, and first, because Mitch fell for the bait. Ooh, it must sting like you can't imagine. And now, as you go into a Saturday morning, here's also what you need to know. Is that the Democrats even almost feel like they're watching this channel. The Democrats are even getting ahead of the fake narratives. I always say to you, I want to tell you about a fake narrative before it comes, because so you're prepared when it comes, because it's going to come. And I had told you in July of 2020 that the fake narratives from Fox News were just ridiculous. What were at the time happening? In July of last year, when the Senate and House went out of session, voting session, Fox News kept on running these stories that the Democrats were out of town to September and you weren't going to get any money till September. Well, that was just not true. And here's what you need to know. Is that not only do the Democrats apparently prepare themselves for that fake narrative this week, they actually issued a statement saying, no, we're not leaving town. So don't tell anyone we're leaving town, because we're not leaving town. Yeah, we'll celebrate 4th of July with our families, but we will be back on Monday and Tuesday working. Here's what you need to know, so you're educated about how things are done. In session refers to two rooms in the Congress building. There's the room for the House of Democrats floor, and there's a room for the Senate floor for voting. When it means in session, it means the doors open and they're in there voting. When it means non-session, it means the doors closed. Now, what fake narratives like to tell you is that when they're not in session, they're literally not even in the District of Columbia. They're not even in Washington, D.C. They're back in their home state is the fake narrative. Not in session. They're not in town. They're gone for 5 months. That's not what not in session means. It means they're not voting. They're actually down the hall, either in their office working or in their subcommittee working. They're not out of town. But to prepare for the fake narrative, guess who issued statements yesterday? Hysterical. The House Ways and Means Subcommittee, who's doing the fourth stimulus recon, and the House Budget Committee, saying, we're having meetings every single day next week. We're not even in our offices next week, staying in a cubicle or, in locked doors. We're actually in the House subcommittees working on this recon all next week. So don't be telling people we're out of town, because we're not. Hysterical. Now, finally, the importance of understanding the vote is also important to remember, because I haven't talked about it since yesterday, and the last time I talked about before that was July of 2020, is that the actual vote, can be called at any time by Schumer, Pelosi, or the president. The president has authority to order the Senate back into session at any time. The Senate, the majority leader, Schumer, can order the Senate into session, and Pelosi can order the House into session. Pelosi did that in July of 2020 when she ordered them back in session to vote on the postal Louis DeJoy bill from Carolyn Mandrade out of New York. And so there you go. What a big recording that was. And stay with this video, because it'll automatically take you into Overnight's Crypto Playing right now. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video. 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. It also delivers you a flag of the red, white, and purple. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino, VIP. Have a beautiful 4th of July weekend. I am here with you all weekend long. We're going to have a lot of fun. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and stay